there, welcome into Knit Habits. I'm so happy to have you with me today. Again, for anybody returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you decided to come back and check in with me again. And anybody new here, I'm so glad that you are here. I've had a few new people, so I appreciate that, and welcome in. So today we're going to talk about some finished objects. I have two of those. I have one half object, and then I also have my whips to talk about, and then I will be talking about the make along for the cardigan make along that we're doing. So it's knit, hashtag on Instagram is knit all the cardigans 2024. So you can find that there. There is also a group on Ravelry if you'd like to go on there. There's a chatter thread and an FO thread. All the links to everything I'm going to be talking about will be below under where it says more, and then there's the little caret pointing down so you can make that bigger and look in all of that. So I'm going to be talking about quite a few patterns today, in addition to just the things that I've finished or am working on. So and we'll talk a little bit about prizes for that as well. So we have quite a lot to talk about today, and let's get going, and a little bit of therapy talk, so we'll do that. All the links, of course, of where to find me again are going to be below as well. So finished objects, we'll just jump right into that. I have two finished objects, like I said. I have the Green Mountain Knits by Fatimah Hinds, and I made these. I know last time we talked, I said I couldn't find the ball band for this, but I did find it. It was hidden, but I did find it. So I made it out of the Lola Bean Yarn Co. There you go, right there. And it is in the colorway Tra-La is what that is. So, and it's not going to be nice and do what it needs to do, but that is what it is. It is a 75-25, and they are just beautiful. These cables came out really gorgeous, and it is for a left and a right, the way that she has it for the thumb gusset. And it is a really nice long fingerless mitt, so I'm really happy with that. I really like that a lot. Fits nice under your jacket. I have worn these on a couple of walks with the dogs, and they have been absolutely perfect. So there you go. And the thumb gusset might be easier to show on this one. Absolutely gorgeous yarn. So really happy with those. The yarn is gorgeous. It's fingering held double because it is a DK pattern. So if you have some DK that you'd like to knit these up with, say definitely go ahead. You can see that there is, there we go, some inconsistency in the color. So this one, which is, well, it doesn't really matter, but is much lighter than the other one, but really I don't think it matters all that much. It's beautiful. So little 2x2 and then a 1 stitch cable up the middle. And I still have, I think I still have 42 grams of the 100 grams left for this. So these are super cute. I will be talking about these again because my son has asked for me to make one, so I'll talk about that. I just got it cast on, so there's not much to see, but I'll talk about the yarn a little bit. But very, very pretty. Really like those. The other thing that I have finished is the Simply Curious hat by Helen Stewart, and I made this out of my Trilogy Yarns MCN DK in Happy Christmas Eve Eve. And it's just a simple hat with a really nice, that end is sticking out. It's woven in, I just kind of kept it long in the middle, so there you go. Okay. twisted rib for, I think it's like 19 rows or something, and then the stockinette, and then a really pretty crown on there. The decreases are really pretty. So really like this hat. This is a size medium. I use the recommended needles. It's a little bit slouchy. I think it's appropriately slouchy. Really nice. So this I have also been wearing on my walks with the dogs. Keep my little ears warm. It's been very nice. So as I said earlier, I'm going to be starting to make some hats because I keep losing them. So if you're wanting a nice easy hat that you can make, you know, it's just stockinette, so it's not like really complicated or anything, but really shows off the yarn, I think, really pretty. Definitely look up the Simply Curious hat by Helen Stewart. And it does have a really nice crown decrease section on the top. So, and it did pull a little bit, the yarn did pull around the brim, and then, but it didn't really so much here. It kind of almost looks striped a little bit on camera, so not so much when you look at it like this, but when I look at it on camera it looks kind of striped, but it's very pretty. I really like it. Really nice pattern. I really love here where it's like brown and orange and purple kind of together. It's really pretty. So yeah, so check that out. That's a really nice pattern. Those are the only two finished objects I have. The Ranunculus I'm still working on. I'm not going to show it today. There isn't enough done on it. I worked on the sleeve and I was doing some decreases before you do the I-cord at the end because I wanted it a little bit more cinched in than it would have been, and I realized that I was doing the decreases on the outside of the arm and not the inside of the arm, so I pulled it all back, and so there really isn't enough to show that's different, so I'm not showing that today. But the half object I have are the just some vanilla socks that I'm doing out of the Woolens and Nosh, and I'm looking down at my notes, sorry. The Woolens and Nosh colorway in Happy Camper, which is 90% Targhee, 10% nylon. There is the skein, or the cake of yarn. It's really pretty. I did this sock and I was pretty happy. It kind of ended on similar colors with the top and the bottom where the toe is, and then you know, sometimes you have to play a little bit of a yarn maintenance to get it to be started at the same color again, and I didn't. It was kind of magic. I was like, oh, this is cool. So yeah, this is Happy Camper, and I still have these on here. As you'll see, I take them off of this sock and I put them on that sock when I get there. So, so I did, let me get the book actually. I wrote it down, so hold on one second. All right, so I have this written down in my book, but it is, I believe, 16 rows of 1x1 rib, twisted rib. And then 60 rows before the heel, shadow wrap heel, which I just love. And then I believe 65 rows before I did the rounded toe. So that is just kind of my vanilla pattern. Let me just double check. I have it in my sock knitting journal. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I got this off of Amazon, and it's a really, really great book. And I oftentimes will put pictures of socks that I have already made on here, and I have different people's vanilla patterns in there, so I can go back and look and make sure I'm doing the same sock again correctly. So I did that with my son's socks on here that I showed last time. Excuse the printer, didn't print very well. But yeah, so that's his recipe. And then I have these in here. I can have this link below. I just got it off of Amazon, so I can kind of keep track of everybody's socks. That's what I thought. Okay, so for this sock here, and what I'm going to be doing on the next one is a shadow wrap heel, rounded toe, 1x1 twisted rib, 16 rows of 1x1 ribbing, 60 rows of sock net prior to shadow wrap heel, and then 63 rows prior to rounded toe. So you can see that on there with my terrible handwriting. And then over here I have the yarn and everything written down. So really great book if you want to keep track of your sock knitting. It's a good one to invest in. So I said it was a half object. I got that one all done, like I said, and I am just absolutely loving these colors. And I think these are going to be really warm. It is a very thick yarn with it being that 90% Targi, but I think it's going to be really warm on there. And they are pretty much exactly the same. So there you go. So I'm working on that one, and as you can tell, I took those stitch markers off of this sock and added them over here. And then these are on 9-inch circulars, US 1, 2.25 Chalgu. And it's so squishy soft. If you haven't worked with this yarn and you can get your hands on some, I would definitely recommend it. It will be yarn that I purchase again. So that is those vanilla socks. And the other thing I started, like I said, is another pair of the Green Mountain mitts for my son. So those he picked out. I had him go in the cabinet right there and look through some different colors, and he picked a Yarnable from Hypnotic Yarn. And if you haven't got one of her boxes, sometimes she has the membership open to new members, and it's definitely worth it. I stopped getting it because I have all of this yarn right there where it's covered. All of that yarn is Hypnotic Yarn, and I thought I'm just collecting it, so I'm going to stop for now, and I can always go back when she has another opening. So this is called Summer Vibes. It is an 85-15 superwash, 437 yards, and it's super pretty. And like I said, I had just started it. So it is a fingering weight yarn, so I am holding it double again. I tried to get as close to halfway through the two balls when I was winding it up, and then I pulled it off, cut it, and then wound up the other one. I didn't quite make it. One's bigger than the other, but I had yarn left over, so I'm not worried about it. It'll be fine. It's really pretty blue, lots of different shades. Really pretty. I love her yarn. It's super soft. So if you're not already subscribed to her box and you would like to, I think you can get 1 or 2 skeins. I think she has different options now where you can even get one full skein and then a mini skein. So, but I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to say. So all I did was I cast it on, and I've done 1 row, and as you can see, it is that 1x1 twisted rib here at the bottom. So that is what that will be. So just briefly talk about that. And yarn that I have brought in, I did I found a new to me yarn store. I think it opened in the fall, and I hadn't been over there to notice. And a girl that I had met, hi Tiffany, at another meetup group for knitters, she had said, hey, I'm going to be at this yarn store. It's a new one, and they have a knit group on Wednesday, so I'm hoping to start going to that. So I went there as well, but I did forget one whip. So let's talk about that real fast. Sorry about that. And then I'll get back to the yarn store. So the other thing I'm working on is the Manhattan Vest by Tori out of the Cloudborne Fibers, limited edition alpaca worsted in the colorway Stone Heather. And it is 100% alpaca, and it comes in these cute little balls right here. And it's so soft. I can't get enough of it. So I was, let's see where I was last time. I was right here. I was just starting the ribbing on the front panel, so I finished all of that. It's about eight, almost 9 inches of the 1x1 rib, and then you do a tubular bind off. So that was a new thing that I learned. I hadn't done that before. It's really nice. Once you get in the rhythm of it, it's super easy to do. I had to do what I do when I've done the Kitchener, which is knit off purl, purl off knit. So I had to redo that, and watched a Stephen West video, which I will have linked below as well. So that was really helpful, but it does have a nice edge on it. A nice rounded edge, and boy, you can see that halo coming through. We have quite a windy day here in Raleigh today, so it's quite windy outside. So yeah, I did the front panel and then got that bound off, and then picked up the stitches and did this back panel. So it's really nice there, and it gives a really nice edge. You slip that last stitch on there, so it has that really nice slip stitch edge on the inside edge of that. And last night I finished that tubular bind off on the back part, so I just picked up to do the neck, and I'm going to do the crew neck, not the mock turtle neck. I think it's just going to be enough with the crew neck. I don't think it needs to be gigantic. I do need to change out the cord because the cord is too long for the stitches, the amount of stitches, but that's okay. I'll figure that out. So really, really pretty. Let me turn this around. There we go, to how the front is. And I will hold it up here. So I think it's going to be really gorgeous once it gets done. The sleeve holes are very large, so if you see I have it held up here, they're pretty big. They're about 3 inches past where the end of my armpit is right there. So, but it's going to be a really pretty piece. So I'm going to do the neck and then pick up on the sleeves and do a little bit of ribbing here, and then it'll be done. So I'm hoping it'll be done for the next one, and I know it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I know it's brown. Brown isn't everybody's favorite color, but I think brown is a nice neutral in my opinion. So you're going to see more brown coming up, and we'll talk about that as well. So that is the Manhattan Vest by Tori. Okay, so back to the yarn store that I went to. It is called Oak City Fibers, and dangerously enough, it is about 2.5 miles from my house. So I go out my neighborhood and down the street and just keep going, and it's right there. So, and it's a really, really nice yarn store, Oak City Fibers. He has a lot of really great yarn in there, and they do classes, and I am just really looking forward to going back and, of course, trying not to purchase more yarn. That's going to be very hard because he has a lot of really great yarn there, but we'll see what we do. Anyway, you can look them up on Instagram. I did purchase some Brooklyn tweed shelter. I don't have it in the hank anymore because I wound it up. I was going to make the Willows hat by Tiff Nealon that just came out, but and I could have sworn when I looked at the store that it said it was worsted weight, and then I got home, printed it, cast it on, and found that it was Aran weight, and so it just wasn't going to work. So I'm going to make a different hat with this, but that's why it's not in the hank. So this is in the colorway Pollen. I did pay $16.50 for it. It is worsted weight. It is American Targhee Columbia wool, worsted weight 140 yards. So there's that. And it is in the colorway Pollen, and I love chartreuse. It's one of my favorite colors. So that's it. Now, it doesn't hardly weighs anything for what it is. And I know a lot of people have talked about Brooklyn Tweed Shelter and it being a wonderful yarn. I can't say I'm in love. Maybe I'll love it more after, but it's like kind of pilly already on this piece of yarn. We'll see. I hope it blooms beautifully because I'm not super impressed at the moment, but maybe it's just me and it'll bloom beautifully afterwards. So I might make, I'm definitely going to make a hat out of it. I just haven't decided what, but that is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in Poland. Absolutely beautiful. And let's talk a little bit about the make-along. I hope that anybody can, I mean, anybody can join in, but I hope that you guys all do want to join in. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're definitely going to have some prizes. Amy, who is just such a beautiful person from Happy Little Yarn, has gone ahead and made a bag. I don't have it here yet, but I know she's gone ahead and mailed it, so it'll be here for the next podcast, and I will definitely show you. But I do have some yarn to show you here in a little bit that's going to be a prize. So again, check for the group on Ravelry, and sorry, a tag for that yarn just fell down and it distracted me. So look on Ravelry for the Knit Habits group. There is the chatter thread and the FO thread, so they're already there and ready for you to join in, or you can use the hashtag on Instagram, which is hashtag Make All the Cardigans 2024. And actually, if you go there on Instagram, Amy already has posted on there the bag that she has so generously donated to the prize for the make-along. So there is that. I will be talking now about different cardigans. So if you're not interested in the make-along, which but that's okay. If you're not, that's okay. Thanks for coming and joining me. I will be also having some therapy talk at the end though, but okay. So some patterns that I have in my, and these are all just ones randomly that I picked that I thought would be good to talk about, that maybe are not super well known, all of them. They're not therapists, designers. So they are ones that are out of my favorites and my library, but and then I have some free patterns in there just in case that is more in your budget, which there's nothing wrong with that. That tends to be what my budget is these days as well. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Ramona cardigan, and that is by Elizabeth Smith. It is a $7 pattern on Ravelry. There currently are 34,121 projects in Ravelry. It is a top-down raglan fitted, and it has some really pretty details in the ribbing at the bottom, and it is made out of Aran weight, so it probably knit up pretty quickly. Just a really pretty tailored fitted cardigan. The other one is the Rosemary cardigan by Amy Christoffers. And that is a $7 pattern as well on Ravelry, worsted weight, really pretty shawl color, raglan, top down. And she's also the designer, if you recognize the name, that did Pressed Flowers. So she also has a Pressed Flowers cardigan, so if that's something you're interested in, that would probably be a really great pattern as well. And I think that right now, the Knitting Place with Dinah and Pam, I think they're doing a class for the Pressed Flowers cardigan as well. I don't know if you can still join, but could be a good way of getting some information from that and then, you know, putting it in the make-along. The other one I have are Pure Seeds by Hinterm Stein. It is $8.60, well, it's 860 euros, which is, last time I checked when I made this list, which was about a week ago, was $9.50 US. It says it's a really pretty, almost like a fitted, like a jacket kind of a look. but I thought, why not put it in here? But it's really pretty, has a really pretty detail on the collar. It does have a saddle shoulder. It says it's worked flat. I just think it's a really classy look. You could wear it with, you know, dressy, or with a pair of jeans and maybe a turtleneck. I just think it's gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. So check that one out. The Penny Open Cardigan by Pamela Wynn, $6 pattern. It does have some lace edging. It is knit sideways. The description on Ravelry says this cardigan is worked sideways in one piece from the right cuff to the left cuff. The reversible ribbed lace neckband is knitted on the body once the sleeves are completed. So that could be just one that has an interesting construction that you've never done before. And it has a beautiful, beautiful pattern. The garden cardigan, which I would like to make, but I think I'm going to do it after this next one that the one I'm going to talk about that I'll tell you I'm going to make for the knit along. But I also want to make this one because it's really pretty. It's kind of lace all over cardigan. It says it's open front. You can put hidden pockets on the inside. You don't have to make them. Garden cardigan is worked seamlessly from the top down. You start working the back for the length of the armhole, then you pick up the stitches for the front and work both fronts symmetrically for the length of the armhole. Then you join the back and the front. So there is some joining on this one. If that's not your thing, you might not want to do that. It does have a really interesting, and I'll put a picture up of the way it comes out on the back. It looks like the part that is like the button band, kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of comes out as a V from the back at the neckline and comes around. So it has a really pretty pattern on there as well. Then there is the Big Magic Girl cardigan by Jackie Badger, or the Woolly Badger, and she is just a hoot. She's a fun person. I think I did a test knit for her. Yes, I did. I did the Colin You Flutter Me tee for her, and that's a really fun pattern. I'll have to wear it on here at some point. But so it is $7 GBP, but $8.91 USD. So last time I checked, it was $8.91 for US. But it's a lace top-down faux side seams, gentle balloon sleeves. The back has a lace pattern down the back panel, so that's really fun and pretty. And then the sweater that I am going to make for the, well, one of the sweaters I'm going to make for the knit along, I'm hoping to at least get 2 cardigans done. See how that goes. Is the Franca by Julie Weisenberger. It is a $10 pattern, but it has set in pockets. They look like, they say kangaroo style pockets, but it's kind of a plain cardigan. Lots of positive ease, slouchy, but I loved those big pockets that they had on the cardigan. It just looks like a nice one to snuggle into, which is something that I always look for in cardigan. I will be making it out of some yarn that I have a ton of it in my stash, so I'm going to be making it out of that, which is the Lions brand Fisherman's Wool. It's again brown. I said you're going to see a lot of brown. I apparently went through a brown phase of buying yarn, so I still have more brown yarn. This is in brown heather, and it is 100% wool. Here's the ball band. There you go. 8 ounces, 227 grams, 465 yards in one. So it is a good deal. It is a little bit scratchy, but I don't think it'll be too bad. So that's what I'm going to make that out of. So looking forward to that. Now, on to, those are just in my favorites. On to sweaters that are in my library. I have 2 for you there. I have the Cable Stayed cardigan by Yulina Murok, EWELINAMURACH. It is $6.50 GDP and $8.27 US dollar last time I looked. It says it's a has really pretty cable details that come up the sides. It's gorgeous. It says it's a cable cardigan, open front, top down raglan. First, the yoke is worked for the traditional raglan cardigan, but without fronts. Only the back and sleeves are worked. When the yoke is finished, stitches for the front are picked up along the front sides of the sleeve and the body and is worked top down. So it does have a really flattering fit and waistline on it. So that is definitely one that I'm looking forward to, and that is another one from my library. And then the Atta Girl by Tori Eichelberger, actually. And it's short sleeve, top down. It's kind of a lace mesh look for it. So that could be a good one moving into the cool, or the starting to get warmer, right? So maybe into spring. You could maybe even wear it in the summer with a tank top, depending on what you made it out of. I believe it's DK weight, so that's another one. And funny enough, I have it written on here. I was just looking up cardigans and how many cardigans I had in my library. I apparently have 55 cardigans in there, so I need to get going on that part. Free patterns. So this one is super, super cute, and I think it's really affordable. They do have some kits for it on Lion Brand's website. I believe it's only $75 for the whole kit, but it's the patchwork jacket by Lion Brand. And I know it's a jacket, but I think, hey, why not? You can use it as a cardigan. And since it is open in the front, and so I'll have the link down below for it on Ravelry, so you can see the pictures, and for lionbrand.com. So if you want to purchase that kit, you can, but it looks like it's a really fun patchwork. It's kind of puffy sleeves, kind of like a bomber jacket kind of style, I would say, but it's all made out of patchwork. And it could be a really good pattern to use stash yarn if you have the right weight yarn for it. I think that could be one, what could be a stash buster as well that you could enter. So it's made out of bulky yarn. So if you have a lot of extra bulky yarn, maybe you've used it in blankets or hats or something, you know, potentially you could use that for this sweater cardigan jacket as well. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry. The other one is, it's called the Montero by Maria Martins. Montero cardigan, it says, is worked seamlessly from the top down. It does have a really pretty detail, kind of a lace pattern down the sleeve. So, you know, it's not going to be 100% boring, just knitting and purling. It does have that really pretty detail down there. So that can be a really pretty one. And then the other one is called Color Your World by Andrea Yetman. It's a striped cardigan up until the sleeve separation. There is a 3-needle bind off at the shoulder. I believe that it was originally made out of biscuit yarns, which I've talked about on here, as I made a cowl out of that, and it was so squishy soft. So if you wanted to use that as well, or you could use maybe even stash yarn for it. I believe it's just fingering weight. So that could be another one. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is called Soft Surroundings by Angela Webb. It says relaxed fit, seamless or worked flat construction, and then an applied rib border. So those are the free ones. There's, you know, as we all know, there's millions of different options on Ravelry, or if you can't use Ravelry, I'm sure that a lot of designers, you can get their patterns on their websites as well. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of inspiration and some ideas from some things that I have saved in my library and in my favorites as well, and then as well some free patterns, because hey, why not? I mean, this is kind of an expensive hobby as far as I'm concerned, and so if you can get something beautiful and make it from something that didn't cost you anything, you know, and even make it from some stash yarn that you have. Hey, more the better. So things that have come in, I already talked about the Brooklyn Tweed shelter, but and sorry for the crinkling, I'm going to try to not have as much crinkle as possible, but Fiber Nymph Dye Works had a sale, so I purchased some yarn, and I purchased these two, and then these two here are sock yarn that are opposites. So you get one sock that has the striping going one way, and then you make the other sock and it goes the other way. These two here are going to be part of the prizes. Here, I'm going to open this, and I'm going to try to cut out some crinkling. So if there's a skip, that's why. Okay, so these two are going to be prizes. Fiber Nymph Dye Works, there's her tag. And these are, it says inversible sets. This is on her Linneus base, which is a 70-20-10. Superwash merino, yak, and nylon, 218 yards. There are two 50-gram minis, or not 50-gram minis. There are two 50-gram skeins, 436 yards total of fingering. This one is in Merlot/bronze. So there's the tag, and that's Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and those are just beautiful. So, and you don't have to make socks out of them. You could use them in a cowl. This could be really fun in the Chit Chat Knits cowl, have like one side one way and then the bottom part another, but so I thought that would be fun for a prize. So this is going in the prize bin for the make along. And then this one is one that I bought for me because I just loved it. It's on the bounce base. This one's an 80-20, and it's soft black and orange. Oh, it's upside down. Sorry. There you go. And you know how I love my orange, so there you go. And it does not. There you go. She has the tag on backwards. There you go. All right, so that's that. And then it came with this. She threw this in here, this little set of minis. And there's a little paper in here. And these are on the Bounce Micro Set, 80-20. So 80% merino, 20% nylon, 40 yards. They're 10 grams each. It says seasons go round, winter bark, spring greens, summer flowers, and autumn fire. So she says here, specially dyed set of micro skeins, one each to celebrate the 4 seasons ahead of us, twisted together just as each season intertwines with one before it and the one that follows. So one for each season. Really pretty colors. And I'm assuming all of them are just put together. I haven't taken it apart, obviously. So that may be in there with this. Why not? Right? So we'll put that in the gift bin, and that will be that. So yeah, so I hope you guys can join into the first make along for the channel. It's very exciting, and I enjoy giving prizes away after the last one, and everybody got in touch with me for their prizes, so that was very fun. I didn't have to chase anybody down. So yeah, now on to the therapy talk for the episode. I am going to talk briefly about something that I recommend to people periodically, It is from a type of therapy called dialectical behavior therapy, which was originally made for some people that have personality disorders. But and now people use it for all sorts of things, this type of therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT. And I honestly think it's something that is great for everyone. I think everybody should have a little bit of DBT in their life. So this is called, it's an acronym, it's called DEARMAN. So DEARMAN. There you go. And it says it outlines a strategy for communicating effectively. This strategy will help you express your wants and needs in a way that is respectful to yourself and others. Using DEARMAN will increase the likelihood of positive outcomes from your interactions. And I oftentimes will recommend this to people that are going through, maybe they have to create a boundary with somebody else, or they have trouble saying no to people or things in their lives, and so they need to have that practice, or they have to bring up a difficult topic to somebody. And so I will often recommend using this as a way of thinking out what you want to do as a strategy for having those more difficult conversations with somebody. And even if you didn't use this, it can be a good way for you to kind of practice and think through your thoughts. I know that when we have to have, for myself, I'm not great at those difficult conversations or having a conflict with somebody. It's not my skill set. So this can be a really good way if you know that you're going to have to say no to somebody or create a boundary with somebody. This can be a really great way to do it. So I will have it linked below. There is a worksheet that goes along with it. So I tell people, write it out as many times as you need to before that conversation. So I won't keep you much longer, but just to jump into what it is, D in the DEARMAN is for describe. So you want to clearly and concisely describe the facts of the situation without any judgment. So in this particular worksheet here, this person, apparently the example that they gave says, you asked me to work late 3 days this week. So maybe they're saying, hey, I'm feeling really stressed at work because my boss keeps asking me to work late. This is a really good way to start. So you're just telling somebody the facts. Hey, like you asked me to work 3 days late this week. E is for express. And so you want to try to use your I statements there. Not I feel that you, I feel, and then the feeling. So I feel, it says use I statements to express your emotions. I feel overwhelmed by the extra work you've given me. Again, you're just stating a fact, right? A is for assert. So you're going to clearly state what you want. This is where you start asking for the things that you need and that you want that can be difficult for some people. It can really be hard. And so if you can have something planned out, that can be a really good help for people. So here it says clearly state what you want. And you want to be very clear and concise and consistent in this part. So it says be specific when giving instructions or making a request. So this says, I need to resume my regular 40-hour week. And then R here is for reinforce, reward the other person if they respond well to you. So generally you want to give somebody kind of a nugget, right? So smiling and say thank you, and other kind gestures will work as well as a reinforcement. And then the man part of it is being mindful. So being mindful of your goal means not getting sidetracked or distracted by other issues. So it says, I would like to resolve the overtime issue before talking about the upcoming project, as the example on here. So sometimes when you're asking for something, somebody is going to change the subject, somebody is going to turn the conversation back around to them, whatever the case may be. And so that mindfulness part is trying to remind you to stay on track, stay focused. Don't let the other person distract you from what you're asking for, or the goal, the boundary that you're making, or the goal that you have, whatever that is. A in the man part is for appear confident. You don't want to go in there with like your head down and, you know, looking like you don't feel confident in what you're asking for, the boundary that you're making. You know, you want to use body language body language says a lot about, right, the way we communicate. It's a huge part of the way we communicate with people. You know, we could talk more about that on communication styles at some point, but so this just says use body language to show confidence even if you don't feel it. Stand up straight, make appropriate eye contact, which can be different for different cultures, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Not everybody, Americans use a lot of direct eye contact. That isn't everybody's thing. That isn't everybody's culture. It can make people feel uncomfortable. So that's something you may want to keep in mind when you're using this, is who am I talking to? Who is my audience? You know, are they going to want direct eye contact? Is that appropriate? So just, you know, keep other people's cultures in your mind as well when you're doing this. But you know, maybe this one is make appropriate eye contact, speak clearly, and don't fidget. And then the last one is really important. Sometimes we have to be willing to compromise, right? So N is for negotiate on there. Know the limits of what you're willing to accept, but be willing to compromise with them. So this, for the example that's on here, says, I'll finish the extra work this week, but I won't be able to manage the same amount of work next week. So like, I'm willing to compromise for you. I can finish out this week working those extra hours, but next week I can't do that. So there's that. And then the one that I used here gives you a worksheet, which you could use. You know, you can print out extras of these and work it out as much as you possibly can. So I hope that helps you. And if you have any questions or anything about that, please let me know, but I'll try to have a link below for it as well. I think it's just a really great option for any of us that struggle with, you know, bringing things up and advocating for ourselves and being assertive in our communication. Assertive isn't aggressive, assertive is being very clear in what you're asking for. So hopefully that helps, or maybe it'll help somebody that you know. And please remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for the video, and hopefully you'll be able to join the make along. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about making some cardigans with you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your couple weeks. I shall be back probably in a fortnight, in a couple weeks is what I'm hoping to do this year. And you guys take care. The last thing I'll say, as always, is go ahead and give yourself the same grace that you would give everyone else.